Okay, Mark, hi. Uh, can
I-
you tell the people who are watching that video just quickly who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Marc. I'm the founder of Silt, and at Silt we help other companies verify their businesses they have to work with automatically. So we help on the process of collection of the information of those businesses, verification, and the communication process of that.
Okay, cool. We started working together about 2.5, 3 months ago, 3 months probably. Um, it'd be awesome if you could just say like what were before we started working together, what were your fundraising goals back then? What
Mhm.
did you want to achieve?
So um, we were in a situation that we needed money. So we knew we needed money eventually in less than 6 months by that time,
Mhm.
but we were also certain that we needed to contact like 100 customer investors at least. That's what they say. But we have tried that before in the past and
Mhm.
in the previous fundraising, and it was not great because we ended up having like um, some conversations, but very elapsed in the time. So we could not properly push the investors. We felt like we were behind their timings and we could not handle the process on our own.
Okay, got it. So you knew you needed to raise in in 6 months time frame, and what did you feel apart from this was sort of the biggest challenge in your way, the biggest roadblock in getting the money you needed?
So the challenge came from that we did not want it to be in the previous situation we were, right?
Hmm.
So we came with an advantage there that we had previously raised and we knew the pains we had there. And the pains we had is that we could not properly the timing, that we could not push investors, and it was very hard to generate FOMO.
And I remember you also said like, hey, we have a lot of context in like the Spanish investor world, but we actually want to expand from that, but we don't have the context yet.
Hmm. So we had the issue of the first fundraising was going through our network and trying to reach the investors in a warm through a warm intro. But
Mm.
we knew we had very little network outside Spain, where we are from, and we wanted to raise. We felt like investors outside Spain are more ambitious and have a different vision
Mm.
that the one we have, more aligned of the one we have, and that was very hard for us to do that outreach to those investors in a cold approach, and that they would feel like we are a hot company. So we felt like we were in the dark then, where how to target the investors outside our network.
Okay, so that's what you wanted to have help with. Okay. So then we started working together. If you could just say, what were a couple of main things you learned and also applied from working with me that kind of stood out?
Well, I think that the thing that we learned the most is a process. That there's a process to everything, and sometimes you think that it cannot go deeper, but once you realize there's a layer underneath that you can go deeper, you can handle properly the communications the way you want to handle it. So in our case, as I explained, we had this issue of timing, FOMO, and then generating this kind of pressure to the investors that we could not handle. And we learned that there was a way, there was a process to navigate that, and having all the meetings in the shortest period of time you could, that would handle the situation on your end you could handle the situation on your end very differently, right? And in
Mm.
a positive way. So that's one of the most interesting things that I quickly learned after the first days of bootcamp, and that was very insightful. Yeah, and other stuff, it's to be really prepared, and we have to be prepared more than we were before, right? Having all the questions, having all the answers of all the questions beforehand, it's very helpful. And third of all, I think that the pitch, we thought we had a good pitch. Investors said that we had a good pitch, and okay. But the way the pitch is right now, more on having more specificity, as you say, Uli, but also having more like passion and personal approach. It's the way that we switch things instead of being just. And I think that it's what makes our company outstand the others, because we have this personal approach, we have this motivation behind that investors want to have that we had previously, but we were not properly portraying to pitch, right? So this was very insightful. I think these three things are the most important or relevant.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, you said that the founder story is something that investors really latch on to, and that makes them sort of get who you are and why you do these things, right?
Yeah, and one thing I learned is that you start thinking you have a founder story, but there's always a better founder story to be found.
Nice. I see what you did there. There was also, I mean, there's also like async material in the offering. I know you went through the like how to email investors, how to follow up with them, and how the meeting tactics.
Yeah. So as I explained, we had this issue of networking, right? We could not. We were going to do a cold outreach to investors we did not know previously. So the process that you have is, it's been good to us. I think we're having very good response rates, and we have already 60 meetings, almost 60 meetings to be had after contacting 170 companies. So we contacted 170. And
That's awesome.
And we had, I think, more than 50 investors waiting to have that meeting for us.
That's like more than 30% opt-in rate. That's awesome.
And that's,
I love hearing that.
A very created outreach message, and
yeah,
and also the message that is, so the message is binded to a strategy behind on when you are raising and why are they going to feel that this is a hard company to invest in. And there was a process there and a work that we did together before to have that aligned, that we had in mind, but properly, bring it down to something that is actually actionable for investors to see that there's a process and there's a progress, and that there's something to not be overlooked, right?
Nice. So yeah, that is awesome. I know you're not at the end of your fundraiser yet. You have a few term sheets, but there's still more to come. The last question for me, or second to last, is before we started working together, what made you almost say no to working with me?
Almost say no. Well, we did not have much money to invest in other stuff that there was not in the budget, so that was very hard to make a decision and decide to go down to it, and it kind of made that happen on our end, closer to our needs, and that was helpful. And a second thing, almost to say no. Yeah, there are many people claiming to say that they will help you, but it's very hard to know if they will actually be of help or they will be very superficial. And that was something that was like pulling away of all the consultants that are out there trying to help. But I think that after these months that we have been working together, you have been very responsive and very available, and it was very good. Yeah, for that.
What would you say to people who are sitting on the fence right now, who may be also seeing like, okay, there's tons of people who say they help you raise money? Anything you can help them with?
I think that it's just not a consultancy process. It's like a kind of, the way I see it is like a boot camp, that to learn this new thing on this new process. this kind of approach to fundraising that I think it's elemental to properly fundraising bigger rounds, right? So with that, you provide a lot of videos and everything is not, they are very straightforward, and then you get all the information, and after that you can have proper conversations and specific workshops to make it in a make it real, right? And that was what I would expect from something like this. So
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mark. Super helpful.
thank you.